Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm Coy, and I'm here to help you start your week off right, fuel your mind with important, thought-provoking news while having a little bit of fun too, right here on CNN 10. Let's start with a quick look at the news out of Saudi Arabia. Tensions between the Middle Eastern nation and the United States increased last week. This comes after the Saudi-led OPEC, the organization responsible for exporting petroleum, announced that they would cut the output of oil by 2 million barrels per day. And that would, of course, increase the price per gallon, ultimately hurting our pockets. The U.S. had been pressuring Saudi Arabia to postpone that move. The timing is difficult for President Biden because the midterm elections in the U.S. are only weeks away, and inflation and the price at the gas pump will be at the top of many voters' minds. The Biden administration asked Saudi Arabia to postpone the decision to cut gas production until after the midterms, a decision for which many are criticizing Biden. The U.S. has suggested that the increased prices could help Russian President Vladimir Putin continue to fund his war in Ukraine. In response, Saudi officials have said the decision to cut production was designed to stabilize the markets, not for political reasons. The White House has now said that it would look for additional ways to reduce Saudi Arabia's control over energy prices. The U.S.-Saudi relationship is viewed as a key pillar for regional stability in the Middle East. 10-second trivia. While not constant, the speed of sound is typically how fast? 10,000 miles per hour, 760 miles per hour, 86 miles per hour, or 186,000 miles per second. Air temperature changes this, but the sound barrier can typically be broken at around 760 miles per hour. Next, we introduce you to Felix Baumgartner. He's celebrating the 10-year anniversary of his record-breaking skydive. He was on top of the world, an unbelievable 135,000 feet. That's 4.5 Mount Everest high. And he became the first person ever to skydive at a supersonic speed. That's a long way since the inventor of the parachute, Frenchman André-Jacques Gonorin, used a canvas canopy and a small basket to drop from beneath a hot air balloon in 1797. Meet Felix Baumgartner speaking with CNN World Sport anchor Patrick Snell.
On the 14th of October 2012, I was all the way up in a capsule, 135,000 feet above the ground, not knowing where this journey is going to go. But it was such a breathtaking moment once I opened that capsule door and I stepped outside, and then I looked around and I could see black sky. And I also saw the curvature of the earth, knowing now I have to do this big leap into the unknown. Because nobody ever did a skydive at supersonic speed. I was the first one, and it brings back a lot of good memories.
Let's get to that special moment, that historic moment. We see that jaw-dropping image, Felix. We see when the door slides open, that amazing view. You say at one point, I think you say you wish you could have actually had more time up there before you jumped on reflection. I mean, to those of us who can only ever dream of being in that place where you were, can you even begin to describe what it's like?
First of all, believe it or not, I was super happy that the door opened, because it could also be that the door is freezing, so I cannot open that door. And once I was outside, I was really trying to inhale that moment, because we have been working so hard. Just think about it. When I started skydiving at the age of 16, this is where my journey already started, without knowing where it goes, but 35 years later, I'm standing there on top of the world, outside of a capsule, in the stratosphere, and I say what I had to say. Sometimes you have to go up to understand how small you are, and then I said, I'm coming home now. And then I was on my way, accelerating to 890 miles an hour in just a little bit more than 50 seconds. It was a very breathtaking moment.
Look, it wasn't all smooth, was it, though? Because despite breaking the sound barrier, you're then spinning out of control, right? At that point, how alarming was it all, and how helpless did you feel?
That was a very alarming moment, because there is no protocol. There's nothing that they teach you, even if you did a perfect preparation for all those years. So I had to find out on myself. How did I do this? By try and error. I was moving my arms and legs around, trying to figure out what will stop that spin. But you have to keep in mind, at that altitude, it's almost a vacuum, so there's no air. It's like sailing without wind means your skills do not work. And at around 90,000 feet, there's a thicker layer of air that helps you a lot. I was able to use that thicker layer of air to control myself. Once I turned around, I was stable as a rock. And from that moment on, this was actually the first moment where I started to enjoy my skydive. And once I opened my parachute and I opened my visor, this was the first moment after 7 hours where I was breathing outside air. So I was reconnected to the outside world. And that was a very happy moment.
And then we see you make this perfect landing, and we know that was so important to you. But of course, the realization at that moment that your life changed forever as well at that point, right?
As a skydiver, you never worry about your landing, you just land, but knowing that the whole world is watching, you want to have a perfect landing, That's why I was so worried about my landing, but I nailed it, I was happy when I landed. The only thing that I didn't know when I landed is, did I break the speed of sound? Because, once you're in free fall, you're fast, but you have absolutely no indication of how fast you actually are. So when I landed, the record verification guy showed up. He took my chest pack off. This was this big white box that I was wearing in front of my chest. And inside there was the record verification device. He took it, he disappeared in a tent, he plugged it in the computer. It took about 10 minutes. I was waiting outside, and after 10 minutes, he came out and said, "Hey, thumbs up. You were even faster than the speed of sound." And at that moment, I was really happy and satisfied, because to me, breaking the speed of sound as the first human in history, that was definitely something.
Now for today's 10 out of 10, a pup that deserves a round of applause. A black lab named Maverick in South Texas was stopped dead in his tracks for more than a minute when he ran into some, wait for it, cats. But not real cats. We're talking Halloween decoration cats. I'm not kidding. The question is, was he frozen because he was ready for the hunt, or because he was afraid that he was being hunted? More now from CNN's Jeannie Mose.
This may look like a decorative dog standing amid 5 Halloween decoration cats. But the dog is real, a lab by the name of Maverick.
He was just like frozen. I mean, it's like somebody just like froze him in place.
Maverick's owner, Adam Flores, says it was the first time the dog saw the cats. He stopped in his tracks in their South Texas front yard as Adam, his wife, and even his 5-year-old daughter cracked up.
Maverick.
"He looks like you paused him," commented one TikToker. Joked another, "I think your dog is broken. To do a hard reset, refer to owner's manual." And only after more than a minute of paralysis did Adam manage to break the spell.
Hey, it's okay, dude.
His catatonic tail woke up first. Someone pointed out Lab thinks he's a pointer. So we showed the video to Justin McGill, who breeds pointing labs at Hunters Point Kennel in Iowa. Was Maverick pointing, or was he petrified?
Oh, no. He was pointing. He wasn't scared. His body language, his tail was medium. He wasn't tucked between his legs. He didn't have any control over that. That's just total instinct. He walked out the door, saw that, and locked up.
Unlike an English pointer, labs are not known as pretty pointers when they spot prey. The point is, don't call Maverick a scaredy cat. Jeannie Mose, CNN.
It's okay, dude.
New York.
Poor Maverick had a rough day. Hey y'all, hey, we love your positive catitudes and all the love you're giving us in the comment section of our YouTube page. So we're showing you some love right back. Special shout out to Priceville Junior High School in Decatur, Alabama. We see you and we thank you. Now go on out and do the little things that make this world a better place. I'm Coy and this is CNN 10.